Hey everybody. So, guess what? Are you guys ready? There is a huge storm out there. It doesn't look like it's going to be, hopefully, not hitting the United States. But this thing is huge and it is made landfall in the islands. I just pulled this up. Let me show this to you. It is just look at that eye. They call this is so tight that and it's pretty big too, but that eye is really tight, so it's really strong. The waters are super hot, especially in the Caribbean. And I know I've talked to you guys about this before, but this is really important. So this I feel like should be a little bit of an awakening for everybody who is following this and watching the news that you guys need to be ready. Like, we need to be ready for the storms, not only for ourselves, but for all of our animals, no matter what kind of pets you have, whether you have a dog, a cat, birds, fish, horses, any farm animals. You farmers know how to deal with this a lot better than people like me do, obviously. But it is important to be able to um, be prepared. I mean, look at this freaking thing. And these little islands, St. Lucia, Grenada, I mean, the little St. Vincent, that's like gonna be really completely wiped. It's gonna be wiped out. I feel so bad for everybody. But what we can do for ourselves is get prepared. It is really important. It is imperative that you get prepared. We've got a lot to talk about here. Is this going to be short because we did already discuss this, so I don't want to like bore everybody, but I am going to put up this other slide that I have here. And I got to tell you, this slide is really important. Now, there's a lot of information on here, right? So it could be really overwhelming. I don't want to overwhelm you guys. I want you to think about just very basic items that you're going to need for yourself and for your pets. Um, and you should already have this in a hurricane kit. Get Rubbermaid containers and just, put your stuff in there. Food can be in one, toiletry, like toilet paper, tissues, paper towels, cleaning supplies, wasteful wipes. What I call wasteful wipes are those Clorox wipes to wipe things up. And you can have all that in one. I have two really big containers. They're huge, actually, and one regular standard size container. So this is what I have in mind. I'm going to go over this list with you guys. So yes, I always have medication. I take medication every day. I also take supplements every day. So I am definitely going to have all that ready for me to grab and go. I already have my medication in a med box, so I can just literally pick that up and go. And it's got all of my medicine in there, and my supplements are all laid out for me by the week anyway. So I'm going to grab that little container, and I'm going to grab my drug box. Batteries. We have our batteries already purchased beforehand. We're all over that stuff, just basically too, because we live in Florida, so um, we lose power all the time. So that's a reality. Even when there's not a big storm, sometimes things happen. There could be an accident or whatever. So we're ready. A list style, and this is what I would do. I would take your phone and I would go through your entire house and videotape everything so that you have that for insurance purposes. So, like your televisions, if you have, I don't know, your gaming equipment, your computer, your whatchamacallit, jewelry, if you have any collectibles, anything like that, I would highly recommend you going around with your video camera. It's a lot easier to do that, and it's faster and it saves time to do that than having to write everything down. We don't need to do that anymore. Candles, we all have, most of us have candles, but it's better not to use candles. That can cause a whole nother problem. You'll forget them. I promise you will forget them. They could get knocked over by a pet or wind or whatever, and boom, you have a fire, and then you have a whole nother problem. You don't need another problem, okay? So get flashlights. That's why we have the batteries. Also, the batteries for just small handheld radio. You can get a hand crank radio, okay? Make sure you have cash. Make sure you have your chargers. The reason why I say get cash is, first of all, for me, cash is king. But get cash so that, when the ATMs go down, banks go down, whatever, because of the power, you're not going to be able to access your cash. So get cash prior to, okay? Cell phone chargers, definitely have your chargers. And I definitely recommend some just puzzles, word search, whatever you can do, Cards Against Humanity, Monopoly, whatever, Pictionary, anything that you have that is like tangible, that's not on the computer. Bring with you. Drawing, if you like to draw. Get your phone numbers together. I think it's really important that you might want to write down, because a lot of people don't know phone numbers. We just, press a person's name or a number if it's speed dial, even worse. Get your rain gear out if you have a rain jacket. If you have any kind of rain boots or anything like that, I recommend doing something to that effect, or shoes that are just going to cover your feet entirely. I'm barefoot all the time, but I do have shoes that I would wear. The Vibram 5-finger toe shoes, I wear those. And some hats. You might need some hats, that type of thing. If you have kids, you're going to need um, some specialty items like right here. If you have kids, you need diapers, you need formula. Your breast pump's not going to work. Your frozen milk is not going to work. So unless you have a generator. If you have a generator, pump away and store your breast milk. But I recommend also having some formula. You never know. You never know. You might never want to give your baby formula, but let me tell you, if things go bad or whatever, you might need that. I don't know why. I don't know what could happen, but anything can happen, okay? So make sure you have things that are for your children, readily available, especially if you have babies. First aid, get a first aid kit. You can get it at Walmart, you can get it online, wherever. Walmart, online, doesn't matter. Amazon. You want your basics. You want, I would say, some saline solution, maybe some peroxide, rubbing alcohol for sterilization, butterfly stitches, bandages, different size bandages, ace bandage, that type of thing, okay? Scissors, tweezers, everything that's going to come in a first aid kit. Look them up. You can go as crazy big as you want or as basic as you want. You don't have to spend a hell of a lot of money. You could even go through your house and be like, I'm not going to buy a first aid kit, but I have a little Tupperware container, whatever, Rubbermaid container, and I'm going to put in, I've got a bottle of saline solution, I've got my Band-Aids, I've got my cotton balls, I got gauze, like we have all this stuff. And all separate, right? You get stuff over the course of time. So just throw it all in a container or a Ziploc bag. Ziploc bags are really good to have, or you can get the dry bags that we use. Like when I would go kayaking and stuff, I would put all my stuff in a dry bag. So you can do that as well. I highly recommend you put your important documents in a dry bag. All of my documents, like really important stuff that would be just a pain in the ass to replace. Like you can replace them, but what a pain in the ass. So I've got like a birth certificate, my social security card. I want my insurance card and all that stuff, my license. I have all that in my wallet. But there's certain things that you may not be able to replace that easily, and that you're going to need your insurance papers for homeowners insurance or renters insurance. And make sure you have your ID with you, because you need ID if you are evacuated for your neighborhood or your area and you want to go back in, say they let you back in a few days later, a week later, whatever, they are going to check your ID to make sure you live there and you're not a looter and you're not, or you're just, maybe you're not a looter, but you're just like, want to make something for your YouTube channel. Okay. Don't do that. Now, let's talk about your vehicle. Make sure if you have an electric vehicle, charge the hell out of that. But also make sure your gas is filled up in your vehicle before the storm. And not right before the storm, because like your lines are going to be way out there, okay? And people get irritated. People get irritated when there's not a storm, okay? So, just breathe and go get your tank filled, and get your battery charged if you have an electric vehicle, and make sure you have gas for your generator and get a gas container that's like approved for gasoline, and get that filled up so that you have gas for your generator. That's really important. If you have a generator, if you don't have a generator, you don't have to worry about that, but you might want an extra 5-gallon container of gas for whatever reason. You're driving around, you're running your AC in your car because you don't have an AC in the house. You need to charge your car, your cell phone. So you go into your car, and so you might run low on gas, even if you're just staying like in a parking lot or in your own parking lot or in your driveway. And of course, most importantly, and I saved two of the best things for last: food and water for us and our pets. So food and water, we want canned food like beans. I don't want to stay away from fish and stuff, but if you need to eat fish, then cans of tuna, and Spam, and they're also now they make things like you can get a whole prepared bag of black beans, like seasoned and everything, in a bag, and you don't even have to heat it up. You can just eat it right out of the bag. And the same thing for rice. I think you do have to cook the rice for like 90 seconds, but I digress. So I'm sure there's something that's already cooked out there, rice wise, grain wise, if you want a grain. Get a loaf of bread if you want. Get crackers, peanut butter and jelly. Peanut butter and jelly is like the best thing. I've eaten lots of peanut butter and jelly when we've had storms and when we've lost power in the past. It's just easy to have. You have it, you don't have to refrigerate it. You're good. And water, they say a gallon up per day per person. Think about that for your pets, because if your dogs are now currently eating raw diet, say that's not available and you have to go to a dry food, or even like a excuse me, or like a what do you call it? Like a dehydrated food. You're going to need water to dehydrate the food, but your pets are going to increase their water intake greatly. I can tell you that from experience over the years. Anytime that I have done raw, um, and for whatever reason had to go back to a dry diet, the dogs drank a hell of a lot more water. You switch them right back to raw, they're getting a lot of their moisture from not only the meat but the veg and everything else that's going into them, so they don't intake that much. So remember that you need lots of water for you and your pets. If your pets have any medical issues, like Bella is on a whole bunch of medication, she's got cancer, so we have her on a regimen of pills that she takes starting from like 5:30 in the morning. We go all the way throughout to the top of the next morning at 1 a.m. when I wake up. Sometimes I just have that time. I wake up that time every night. I go pee, and I come out here and I get her pill, one of her pain pills, and I go in and I just kind of put it in front of her nose, and she wakes up. She's like, oh, treats at night. It's got a little pill pocket, and I give her a little cookie. And I also bring one in for Troy because he inevitably hears her chomping on something. So, okay, so that's done. So make sure, of course, that you get along with all of your medications refilled, make sure you contact your veterinarian and get all of their medications refilled, okay? Do it now. Even if there's no storm that's threatening your area, just do it. I mean, don't wait. Don't be complacent. Just do it. Make sure if they're uh, have a crate or any kind of carrier that you have all those. Make sure they close properly. Make sure you've got all the fittings to keep them together. Don't wait for the last minute and you're like, oh, I've got to put my bird in a crate and oh, I don't have a bird crate, or oh, I've got a crate but it doesn't close all the way. You know, just kind of get your stuff together. Do an inventory of everything. Look at this list. You know, you've got to take heed of what you need now, not later. Don't wait. Again, don't be complacent about it. Make sure your pet's ID is up to date. So if they have tags or they don't have tags, go to PetSmart and go get a tag. They've got those tag machines right there. Make a tag. You can also go to your vet's office and get your pet microchipped. Make sure their rabies vaccine is up to date. That is the one that's required by law and that you must have, okay? And leashes, a muzzle, a thunder shirt in case they're, you know, a little stressed out, okay? If you have a service dog, make sure you have their vest. Make sure you have everything that they need. If you have any specific documentation for that service dog, please bring it and put it in your important document file. Also, that's where your papers are, your dogs and cats and every animal's papers, along with your insurance papers. Just go in one folder, just a little folder. That's all. You don't need anything fancy. And let's see. Oh, a can opener. That's not electric, okay? Just one of those manual crank can openers, okay? And if you want to get like some bottles of, you know, maybe some like electrolyte stuff like a Gatorade, or there's better stuff out there than Gatorade. But make sure that you're staying hydrated also. That's also why it's so important to have your enough water for yourself, okay? As far as the food portion goes, you know, you can get some plastic forks and knives, spoons, and some paper plates. Make sure you've got some garbage bags. It's really important to have garbage bags, just to keep all your stuff contained, tied up, and just a more hygienic area. I like to always have a container of some plain straight up bleach. Nothing that is like, you know, spill proof or scented or anything, because a little bit of bleach that's diluted in water is a great cleaner. You can just have a little spray bottle. Also, vinegar, white vinegar is excellent for cleaning. So think about those two things, disinfectant and cleaning. One thing that I like about bleach is that you can mix, you know what, I've got to look that up. I'm not sure what the ratio is, but you can cleanse water with a little bit of bleach. So look into that. I'm going to look into that too. But more importantly, you want to make sure that you've got everything you need that you don't think about. Okay, that's why I put this list up here. This is so important. So stay safe. Let me know if you have any questions. I can absolutely help you with things you need. You might need ideas of where to go, where to get them, what you should get, or how to train your dog, or other animal, your bird or your cat, into a crate, how to get them used to the crate. So let's do that. Get ready. Let's be proactive, everybody. All right. I really appreciate you listening. I hope you like these little things, these little like updates and whatever. So please like, follow, share, subscribe. Get everybody to listen to this. This stuff's important. This is more than about just supporting my, you know, my podcast. It's about helping each other and being there for one another. So remember, have a doggone positive day and get your hurricane kit ready. Bye.